Good evening, I'm your announcer, Snick Farkas. You may begin to Twitter. I used to think that all politicians were fools. Then I realized who elected them. Those of you who are wondering where I've been on death's doorstep without a welcome mat. But thanks to the miracle of modern science and a hell of a lot of good luck, I stand before you a broken but semi-repaired cartoonist. With that said, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all the ships at sea, it's time once again for the Colossus of Gold show. A statue struck by lightning grows hideous proportions and wreaks havoc on the tiny town of Specific Groove. Brought to you this week by Perkins Toothpicks, makers of plain, ordinary wooden toothpicks since 1903. This week's Taxation Without Representation, episode number 290, Just Don't Call It a Parking Ticket. With the city in a complete state of inertia, how will they solve their budget woes? He's the most despised, yet lovable, city worker, evoking both terror and fearlessness. With a passion for his work, but bereft of human emotion, it's Lonely Tony Meterman, the Employee of the Year. Think of it as revenue enhancement. He's writing your ticket to paradise. Or think of it as a gift, as your gift to the city. Or transportation occupancy tax. Ironically, at 2 p.m., the parking spaces in front of the abandoned storefronts are replaced with fruits and nuts. Not to mention all that produce. Meanwhile, in a darkened alley, somewhere in the confines of the city, psst, top secret. To be continued. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson went for a camping trip. After a good meal and a bottle of wine, they lay down for the night. After a few hours, Holmes awoke and nudges Dr. Watson. Watson, look in the sky and tell me what you deduce. Well, Watson replied, I see millions and millions of stars. And what do you get from that? Watson pondered for a moment and said, well, astronomically, it tells me there are millions of galaxies and potentially billions of planets. Astrologically, I observe that Saturn is in Leo. Horologically, I deduce that it is approximately 3:15. Theologically, I can see that God is all-powerful and that we are small and insignificant. Meteorologically, I suspect that it will be a beautiful day tomorrow. Watson, you see, but you do not observe. Why, what do you mean, Holmes? I mean that someone has stolen our tent. And remember, the Colossus of Gold is intended as parody and contains no actual information. Thank you and good evening.
Is anybody allowed to follow that?